first pitch. I didn't catch any of the comments, just punched it in.
Yeah, I saw you once.
All righty, we're going to call the meeting to order. We're going to open up with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're also going to open up with a moment of silent prayer and keep Councilwoman Carl Ball in your thoughts. Her dad passed away this weekend, so she won't be with us tonight. Alrighty, welcome everybody. We're going to start off here with item A, approve or amend council minutes for March 16th, 2026. Any corrections or questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve. Ike, seconded by Aaron. Aaron.
Yes.
Chad.
Yes.
Gary.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
And Kevin.
Yes.
Item B, approve bills and payroll in the amount of $366,090.02 and the March 2026 financials and earnings report. Aaron, anything you want to add to that?
Interest rates have slipped, so, but the good news is the fund balance continues to grow. So we're not seeing dollar-wise slipping in returns, but more so just that interest rate right here. So, 138,746.41 earned in Q1.
We shop that around, or is that pretty much the standard?
It's a cash sweep that we use with F&M Bank. Yeah, it's been with them for a while. Back in the day, we wouldn't have even paid that much money before we did this program about an entire year. So I'm happy with that. For sure, it's not just sitting in a 0.001% account.
All right, any questions? Ask for a motion to approve. Mike, seconded by Chad. Kevin?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And Mike.
Yes.
Item C, resolution 2026-13, this is a public hearing. A resolution approving 3 parcels for renewal of farmland that is located in the agricultural district designation in the village of Archbold and declaring an emergency.
So we get these documents from the auditor every 5 years. This needs to be renewed. And so we have a 12.2270 acre parcel. Here, we have for TriFlow. And then we have a 13.0020 parcel for Grimm Enterprises. And then we have a 51.027 acre parcel for Carroll Mouse Center. So just kind of as a reminder, or for those who are unfamiliar, if land comes out of CAUV, for whatever reason it gets developed, or they do not qualify anymore, there's a 3-year repayment that they have to do on that. So it's beneficial to them to keep it in CAUV, and obviously it preserves the agricultural land that is within village limits. Now, it's not zoned necessarily agricultural, but it's still being used for agricultural purposes.
from the public on that? Okay, hearing none, then I'm going to ask for a motion to suspend. Kevin, seconded by Gary. Aaron?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Kevin?
Yes.
Motion to approve. Gary, seconded by Mike. Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Aaron? Chad?
Yes.
And Gary.
Yes.
Item D, resolution 2026-14. This is a resolution authorizing the village engineer to submit an application for financial assistance from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources for H2O Ohio funding for a wetland construction grant and declaring an emergency.
So this is something that coincides with the stormwater management plan and the study that we did with Jones and Henry, Edge Group, and Hall Consulting back in 2022. Some people in this room may have attended some meetings where we studied basically the entire watershed of Archbold, both Flat Run and Brush Creek. And that project was at least 12 to 16 months long. A lot of hydraulic studies to understand where the water is going, where the bottlenecks are, and so forth. So the owner of this property has allowed us to work with CT consultants to do some concept and feasibility studies on this land that they have here developed, wetlands, floodplain benching, and so forth. That way, any water that's flowing through the northwest quadrant of Archbold will be able to detain a lot of the stormwater. But also, back in 2015, because Sour Village was built so low, this will also benefit them. They had several inches of water throughout their campus back in 2015 in June. No storm detention was done anything back during the day, and this is about the lowest area of Archbold as it can get. So this will also help with that, and will help with the whole northwest quadrant. We're asking for about $1.5 million, and that will fund everything. So we're not looking to put anything in other than staff time for inspection if we get the grant. From what we've been told, H2O Ohio, ODNR is very, very interested in this. They've asked if we plan to submit an application, so our consultants are very positive that this should yield us full funding. And if they don't, we will table it until next year and ask again or look for other funding sources. I think there's like 30,000 cubic yards of dirt that has to be moved, right? It's a ton.
What's the total acres on that?
I don't know. I cannot tell you at this moment.
Is there any kind of speculation on a number as far as cost?
1.5 million.
It is one.
About the only thing we would do is inspection.
We'll inspect it, yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
What's
we
the
of course paid for the study to get us to this point. The elevation, the topo and stuff like that was necessary to understand is this feasible, we're gonna ask them to design full out, but. So this just approves doing the grant. As silly as it sounds, you still have to ask for approval to apply for a grant, even though there won't be any expense on our end, direct expense. But it does help a lot with the farmers and the new strip runoff too. I mean, you have the entire 200-acre parcel that the town owns that goes through here, the other 100 acres plus where the subdivision's going, that's gonna go through there. They're doing their own storm detention, so we believe that this is going to significantly impact, reduce the flooding in this part of town.
Good. Any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna ask for a motion to, suspend. Aaron, seconded by Chad. Chad?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yeah.
And Aaron?
Yes.
And a motion to approve. Mike, seconded by Gary. Kevin?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
And Mike.
Yes.
Item E, resolution 2026-15. This is authorizing participation in the ODOT road salt contract awarded in 2026 and declaring an emergency. Apparently Jason March used a little bit too much salt this year, so we gotta stockpile up, right?
Yeah, I just,
No, that's not the case. We're not ODOT folks. But yeah, Jason's here just to talk a little bit. They sent us this notice, and you have until the first Friday of May to return, so, we at least got it, this early enough in the month, but it is important to get on this, because I think salt prices were pretty significant last year, or this winter, when it was getting tough, so.
yeah, so there was a few years there where we didn't have to order any. Last year we ordered 400 tons. The price was $54.31 a ton. I'm guessing we used right around 500 tons. I have about 350 on hand, and I would like to order another 500. Basically, there's like 3 different entities that fight over it. Whoever wins Fulton County, then we find out then what our price is basically. And there's like an 85 115, which we have plenty of storage now with the hoop building, so we emptied out the actual salt bunker. We're gonna fill that first, and then we'll put the remaining in the hoop building. So we'll be able to use the 85 115 doesn't mean that much to us anymore. I basically just wondered if you guys had any questions for me. We use, I would say, between 20 and 25 tons of storm, just depending on how slippery it is, if we have to reapply. It's about 20 if we just have to go out and salt once.
It's necessary,
Yeah.
especially if we have another winter like we did this past one, so.
Anybody have any questions for me?
No? Thanks, Jason.
You bet.
All right, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to suspend. Kevin, seconded by Aaron. Aaron?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
And Kevin?
Yes.
Motion to approve. Aaron, seconded by Mike. Chad?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
And Aaron, yes. Okay, moving right along. Item F, Resolution 2026-16. This is a resolution imposing a temporary moratorium on data centers, advanced manufacturing, and technology storage facilities, including development and annexation applications, and declaring an emergency. And this is kind of meant to buy us some time here, folks, to get some legislation right.
Yeah, that's entirely what it is, so that we can go through the right steps to determine how we wanna handle this. Allow some of our studies to get done that we're already currently involved in. I feel like this stuff is just changing, we think back to when some of this really exploded, 9 weeks ago, at least. We've had a lot of different thoughts go in our head, and I think at first it was trying to help the public understand that we're not actively seeking one, there's not one in front of us, and this council does not support, significant development that without doing the proper studies. And our zoning code did not allow for it at all. So now I feel like we're at the point where, not that it didn't allow for it, but it didn't clearly spell out how it would be done. So I feel like we're at the point where now we need to have time as a group to discuss further what steps. Is it a flat out prohibition? Is it a soft ban? Is it getting zoning done in the right manner that ensures that if something is going to come into our community, it is done appropriately and healthy for the surrounding area, and not at an extent of 900 acres like the concern has been. We continue to be in contact with Luke and Austin, definitely a first name basis now. They have no intention of bringing a data center. They've clearly told me any bit of credibility that they have professionally and personally with people would be out the window, even if they did do this. And so they want to move past this. They support any effort that we take to move past this, so that we can get into a direction where any development we're looking at, whether it be on their behalf or at their request or another developer that comes in, is right for the community and and isn't just gonna be shut out as a blanket statement, we don't want anything. Cause at the end of the day, there's a lot of change that are shifting in the state. Those who, I know it wasn't a very big crowd, Wednesday night, and for some obvious reasons, but, some of that meeting went to a different direction. A lot of it was going on with property tax, just complete ending it. So we need to continue to look at healthy development, and I do believe that some of the individuals in this group, with the responsible development group, they want to help us find the right avenues for responsible development and ensure that our zoning is done correctly. Because at the end of the day, we can't say no to everything. We have to be open and willing to explore every option that we have, but have a zoning code that works. So, this 6 month hopefully allows the public some rest and allows us to take the time in these meetings to start focusing on what direction do we want to go in. We have half a dozen different options, and it's just a matter of where do we go from here, but not fly so fast that we're spiraling out of control like how we got here by others. So I know that it was advised that we don't need to do one, but at the same time, we've gone back and forth. So I guess my last piece of that is I'm never afraid to say, hey, we should have stayed the course this way, and public perception on you guys keep bouncing back and forth. That absolutely, I'm not concerned about that. I'm not too prideful, and I don't think this council is either, to explore or to at least consider maybe this is the route. And at this point, it's up to you as council to determine if this is what you want to do. If you want to keep it at 6 months, if you want to make it 4 months. At the end of the day, it's your vote. But I think a little time, help the public rest, to help us to focus. We've lost a lot of time just in trying to do damage control and put out the fire. So let's be more preventative for the future is my take on this. Temperature has gone down a little bit, at least emotionally.
Any questions?
I'm just gonna go back to Farm Bureau told us not to do anything other than table it. Our own attorneys have told us not, basically advised us we didn't need to do it or have to do it or we should do it. Said we could, but wasn't gonna do anything. I mean, I know we're trending in the right direction of getting some zoning stuff in place. So I don't understand why a moratorium at this point. I'm not an attorney, so if our attorneys that we pay are gonna tell us that's not necessary, I don't understand why it's necessary. And Farm Bureau told us it's not necessary, and we just open ourselves up to litigation. Again, maybe we know there isn't anything on the table, so we know we're not gonna get sued. But I don't wanna put this out there and then all of a sudden some developer says, oh, I'm gonna take these options and now here's a lawsuit.
My research, no moratorium has ever been overturned if there has not been a permit already put out there or something has been filed. So there's been no moratorium ever been sued unless there's already been something in motion already. So I think it can't hurt anything. You know what I mean? We can make it 3 months. If we get into 3 months, we can change it, right?
You
We
could
don't have
extend
to
it.
go
I mean, in the way that I wrote this to begin with was could we extend an additional, I don't know if I said by days or by months, 3 to 6 months or whatever, just to continue to buy us time. I mean, you can always amend and rescind legislation. And that's kind of what he was talking about was you can put a moratorium in place that allows the public to feel that, they can be at ease a little bit, but council can turn right back around the next meeting and rescind it. So, I mean, that's the case with any legislation when it comes to that sort of thing. Now, a zoning amendment, that's gotta go through the proper channels. I don't really know how a council would change a zoning code overnight, but resolutions, that's different. So.
And it is just temporary, so.
Has any land changed hands?
The one parcel did.
Yeah, Arizona.
50-50. I hear Mike, and I hear what you're saying. We need to move forward and talk about other issues, and this is a way to to do that, but there's no threat on the horizon. I take Stand their word. But I don't know.
But if there is a threat and they try to file something, you cannot do a moratorium after the fact. You can't do that. You can, but you'll get sued. You'll get sued right away.
So why were we being advised to wait until there was something on the table before we make a decision?
I don't know, but if you do research, it
I mean,
shows.
I
You know,
I've called-
21 day is what?
Yeah, 20 days to make a decision.
I
So,
also-
I feel like that is why this gives us the time to get it done, and not have to worry about. For me, it's a productivity thing, if you want my honest opinion. It's a productivity thing so that I'm not constantly taking the phone calls, responding to inquiries, and I can focus to get not just the zoning done, but my day-to-day job done. That's ultimately at the end of
I
the
hear
day.
you.
That's the support that I see. I know those guys aren't gonna do it, 100%.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't gonna come over here on the other end of town and see an opportunity too. What goes on in Greenville Township, where we supply water, there's an 8-inch main that goes there. What goes on there, all we have is control of the water. But within the boundaries and the outlying area of our boundaries, something could pop up someplace else. I'm not saying it's going to, I'm not saying I have that threat or that feeling of threat today, but the moment somebody buys land, we've had somebody inquire about an 18 acres that they're looking for housing, that gets spun in a different manner. I feel like we'll be back to square one.
Any other discussion?
I'm on the fence as well, just because what the lawyer did say in the meeting, but I don't want us to hit that easy button today and then coast for 6 months and not get our zoning in order. I mean, we know that's the number one way to stop something unwanted in this community is our zoning. So, I know we have a lot of other things going that we've put on the back burner, but I don't want that zoning to be one of them.
Well, this would allow us to
Have a
take
little
the
bit more
energy
time.
that we've been spending talking to the public and emails and phone calls and to put that towards getting the zoning done right. To have a dialogue about zoning and not about the topic at hand on the damage control side, and then continue to focus on what needs to happen. So it's a shift of focused work as opposed to.
I hear what you're saying.
We got a process we need to go through. We gotta get this in front of planning commission and go through the process. Our
But
process is different than German Township, so we've gotta make sure we get this right.
Is 6 months gonna give us time?
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Grant and I had the discussion this
I
morning.
guess Grant my question is 6 months gonna give time to go through the process with you and council? So we don't get slapped in the face after 6 months?
Yeah, I mean, we just need to have those, just like Aaron said, we need to have those focused discussions on what do we wanna see? Do we wanna see a soft ban where we make it conditional use? Do we wanna see a complete prohibition? Do we, who do we wanna have review it? What attorneys do we want involved? I mean, all those discussions need to be pinned down before we can move forward.
But you and I talked about that before, and that's why I told you, I need your gut feeling. I told Aaron the same way, I want your gut feeling on this, your gut telling you which way to go.
Whatever way you guys tell us to.
You're the elected officials, remember.
My job is to provide you guys with the facts, and then your job is to tell me what to do with them.
Have you heard anything back from the firm that we were trying to get our zoning code update from?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked with them, but trying to give these guys next door the time, and we put a lot of things down on paper and what we would see in our wish list, but again, it's Jay, I think you're in here, I don't think anybody else from the township is in here. But they, they basically, they put the data center stuff in their M2, and M2 has 2 parcels. 4?
Gerald Green, S&W Mills.
Oh, okay. So, the county's comprehensive plan, if I remember correctly, when they updated theirs back in, I think it was 2021, it talks specifically about preservation of farmland. So, their justifiable defense of why they would not entertain a rezone is farmland preservation. So they put it in 4 parcels that surely couldn't accommodate, maybe a small one, a swamp dwelling, a data center. They didn't have to create a new district, but we have a lot of M2. So even if it's a conditional use in M2, there's a lot of stuff that could change hands. And quite frankly, we've had people just totally try to smoke us by on a conditional use permit, and then they basically like, what are you gonna do about it? One person's not alive anymore, but he came to my office and said, what are you gonna do about it? Sue me. Honest to God, these are the types of conversations we have with people. It's my property, I'm gonna do what I want. And first of all, it's extremely frustrating to be dealing with that, and then you're over here and we're trying to, so in our aspect, it's okay, we could do a conditional use. Our comprehensive plan talks about things, it does not talk about industrialization. So we do have a defense mechanism built into our comprehensive plan that was just passed a couple of years ago. And that is where we were leaning towards, was a conditional use requirement for data centers in M2. Not necessarily to create another zoning district, we're adding a whole nother layer. We could, but it's like what we talked about with you a while back was, how do we create this framework of the zoning and where that falls and the restrictiveness of allowing it in, because a data center could be a very small scale. We know we don't want hyper, but what if there was a repurpose of something? And so you have to ask yourself, all the questions and to filter this decision making out. So we've had the discussions with the attorneys in Columbus. We've had the discussions next door. They've had some setbacks because of breaching and cyber issues that they've had a lot of problems with in the last 2 weeks. But it's a matter of, all right, where are we going to point these priorities as far as how do we want this zoning to look? Or do we just want to put up total prohibition like we talked about? So yeah, this isn't an effort to shut down discussion. It's an effort to redirect energy and time to focus where we need to focus. Not, we got the stuff over here in the day-to-day, gotta work on that. But we gotta stop the phone calls, we gotta stop the emails. Quite frankly, we gotta stop the anonymous letters that are running through this town.
Yeah.
Beating people up who have nothing to do with this. Wholeheartedly no. Nothing to do with it. And anonymous letters are still coming out. And I'm getting those phone calls and trying to help them keep their head and not want to just take their business out of this community. So, again, we put half the energy into working on zoning and getting it done right, as we've put into the energy of it listening, will be way more effective. And that's what my feel of this moratorium is. Gotta be more effective with our time. And I definitely told Austin and Luke, thanks for ruining the last 9 weeks of my professional career. From a time standpoint.
All of our careers, because we become the shark bait.
And that wasn't their intention. Let's just make sure that that's known. But let's move past that.
I think it's also important for the public to know, and even those outside of here, that this is the only opportunities we get to talk about this stuff. We can't meet behind closed doors, more than 2 of us, to talk about these issues. So I think that's important to extend that, and we also need to, look for some grace from you guys because, and like I said, those outside of here, because we can't converse about it.
No. a work session would probably be a good thing before we brought any zoning stuff to planning commission, just to see. Because planning commission can make a recommendation or not, but then it's still gonna come to you for passage. Theirs is just that, kind of that first level review and a public hearing before it comes to this public hearing.
Alrighty. Anything else?
The 6 months has gotta be this can't go longer than 6 months.
And that's what we have.
I mean, 3 months. If we're gonna do a work session, we gotta get it done. I mean, we're already 3 months into this thing. Not that I need to remind you.
But we can rescind the months.
If we get it done in time, I mean, we can set it up for 6, we can rescind it to show good faith as well. That's,
The 3 months might push us along a little more. I mean, I understand where you're coming from there. Might push us along. If we need to extend it, 2 weeks, we can do it after that. if We need to.
so if you don't wanna keep it at 6, you'll need to make a motion to recommend it to be a different duration. Or if you wanna keep it at 6 and plan to rescind it, as soon as we get done, right, we can do that too.
So I'm gonna ask for a motion to suspend, but that motion will include, whether you wanna go with the 3 months, 6 months, or 6 weeks, it don't matter.
6 weeks is
So-
a little basic.
I'll ask for a motion to suspend. Chad, seconded by Kevin. Gary,
Yes.
Mike,
Yeah.
Kevin,
Yeah.
Aaron,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
a motion to approve,
Before you do that, we're gonna go to a 3-month, we're gonna do it 6.
6 months.
6 months is tight.
Motion to approve, Chad, seconded by Gary. Gary,
Yes.
Mike, Kevin, Aaron,
Yes.
and Chad.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Item G, committee and board, department reports. We got the March 2026 income tax report. We've got some, well, we all know we got good news there, so.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster last year, we ended up ahead of budget, down a decent amount over last year, or the year before, but as it stands today, we're 5.56% above for the year, so. Nothing to complain about there, I'm just grateful for those numbers, and it keeps us moving, it keeps us in the right direction, and it's gonna help us write some tougher numbers that we're gonna see this fall. So, when we start comparing where some of the dips were last year, it's tax time, so it's good to see this, that means returns are coming in well. But I think it's, we got the renewal of the 3.3 mil, which is about a 2.1 mil effective rate, which is general fund, and that's $450,000 approximately, on the May ballot. And that's truly the lifeline for police and EMS, aside from the 3/10 that we've received from this amount for police and EMS shortfall. I guess for the public's understanding, the way our income tax works is of the 1.8%, 3/10 goes to police and EMS, to cover that shortfall that went into effect a couple of years ago. A 0.5% split in two, goes to parks, so 1/4% of that, or 1/4% of the total income tax, half of the half goes to Parks and Rec, and they operate on a very skimpy budget there, and then the other half of a half goes to the street department. The street department, they have some other funding sources, so that definitely helps them, and then the other 1% is capital projects. We don't know, as you've heard, we don't know with the property tax and where that might go. Operationally, it will create some challenges if it does go away. Sales tax scares me at 20%, but the thing to note is that of that 1.8, we may need to see that become just a straight general fund, so we can protect the essential services in the future. So it would require a ballot initiative to amend and replace that 1.8 so that it's not restricted. Ohio law allows municipalities to impose up to 1% without a voter-approved levy. However, the auditors have identified that that first 1% that was established back in the 1960s, I believe, was for capital projects. So you cannot put that in the general fund. So the way our revenue streams are set up is it's specific. And when that 1% went in, we were using it for rebuilding of streets, especially the ones that were, very old around the central part of town, and then also water lines, storm sewers, and sanitary sewers. Some communities do it that way. Other communities spend it from their funds in those operating areas, water and wastewater departments. So there's a lot of work that we need to do to try and stay ahead of this potential abolishment of property taxes, and what we need to do or what we may need to consider doing to ride that storm, and that might mean a repeal and replace, even if they don't go away, so that we're at least prepared. Because if that faucet and the thing that those that were at the meeting, those that are up in this election cycle running for governor that support the abolishment of property taxes, we don't know if it passes, if it's a day one, January 1, there's no more revenue source coming in, even though we pay it in arrears, or if we're paying in arrears, we're gonna pay that one last go around next year. If that's the case, that's a heck of a lot better scenario of the bad situation that I believe it is, not just for municipalities and townships, but schools as well. So we may need to be prepared and be ahead of that and look at starting to amend this, because if the taxes don't go away, amending it just allows us to have that protection. Police, EMS, fire, first and foremost. So I just don't want to be in situations where we have to threaten cutting when we have some vehicles and ways that we can make adjustments. And again, this is on my big to-do list of what we need the numbers that need to be laid out so the public can understand it. But for those that pay that 1.8, whether you live in Archbold or not, collectively, the EMS and police services do impact all of us. So,
All right.
today, we're good.
Item B, March 2026 police report. We got item C, the March 2026 fire EMS. Seems to be pretty consistent month to month. Item D, the March 2026 fleet report. Any questions? We'll move on to item H. We got public participation. Anybody here would like to address council for whatever reason?
To Aaron's comment earlier about this is the only time you guys get to get together to speak about things. I mean this respectfully, however you guys want to take it, but if this is the only time you guys get to talk about this stuff, then as a person in the community, talk about it. I've come to a lot of meetings, and usually they're pretty quick, they're pretty fast, because you get something in front of you, you vote it through, whatever, right? I trust you guys that you're doing the right thing for the community. But if you gotta take the time to talk about it, then talk about it. And I don't know if that's what you mean by it, but I'm gonna say it, right? So if you guys gotta be in here for an extra hour to go through and make sure that you calm whatever doubts you might have on something, then you guys need to do that. Because that's what the public's expecting. And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my gosh, are these guys really gonna fumble this right now? Because half of it is helping Aaron, and I've offered my help to Grant, he knows it, on this stuff. Whatever needs to be done, research, I'll help out. A lot of people in the community are ready to help out. But to come to this meeting today and be 50-50, like, this has been a long time coming. So if you guys need to talk, then talk. That way, because yeah, an executive session, something like that, would probably only stoke the fire. But if you guys need to take the time and talk these things out, then do it. We'll sit here and we'll listen. And I'll tell you though, I'm not gonna bash you guys on Facebook and say, I can't believe he said that, 2 hours in, but I'd rather you guys sit here, take your time, talk things through, right? Because that's what we have voted you guys in to do. Then we just get through everything and we fumble this and we're sitting here 6 months down the road having done something else, or looking back thinking we could have done something different. So I guess take that more as encouraging word than bashing. Again, I mean it respectfully, guys. This community has trusted a lot in you guys. So, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just have a question.
Sir?
I just want to be clear, did you just pass a resolution for a moratorium for 6 months, or did you pass the moratorium?
We passed the moratorium. Anything that we put up that's a resolution, the resolution is there to establish, or like, the moratorium is in place effective immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Just a
Yes,
question on
Brian.
top of that. At one of the meetings, did we say that when it does actually get passed, it still takes a certain amount of time to go into effect, or did you say it actually is in effect
When they
now?
suspend the rules, so it takes majority, which they had tonight. They suspend the rules, meaning we're gonna pass this by emergency. A lot of things we do, unless it's gonna affect the public in any specific way, utility rates, things like that, we go through that 3 reading process plus 30 days. But because they pass it by emergency, it's effective immediately.
Okay.
Not 3 readings in 30 days, which in essence is 2.5 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, we got another one.
Sorry.
Yes.
Me again, sorry. Can I come up here to speak?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for passing the moratorium. I think legally it's the right thing to do. Not as an Ohio attorney, but I've done my research as a Michigan attorney, researching Ohio and Michigan, and it is the correct legal step that you're doing, and you're giving yourselves time to make good decisions. There's only one other case that I could find in Ohio, where Lordstown, Ohio, where they got sued, and it was not for a moratorium. It was because a data center had already been approved, and then another data center wanted approval. And while they were waiting 2 to 3 weeks, the zoning board didn't answer them. And then they got sued for not answering them, is basically what happened. And they tried to ban data centers in the interim. So it's in the Supreme Court in Ohio right now. So it's not my legal opinion, just my opinion as a Michigan attorney, not as an attorney, but I think you did the right thing. And I'm really thankful that you did that. And I think you need to do health impact studies and environmental studies in order to shape your future ordinances, so you know what you want down the road, and you don't make fast decisions just because you have a lot of pressure on you right now. But I also wanted to make sure that with the moratorium, that you do it so that if anybody ever did ask you why, that you have it on the record. It's really important to put on the record your reasons for the moratorium. So you were concerned about the Farm Bureau, and that's what they said at the beginning, was you can't just have a moratorium. You have to have a really good justification for the moratorium. So I think you have 4 very good reasons, and I would hope that you would maybe put these on the record so that if anything comes up, you didn't just say we want a moratorium because we have a lot of pressure and we just need some more time. So the first reason is House Bill 646, which is already passed in the House in Ohio unanimously. So it's assumed it will pass in the Senate, and they're going to do a task force. So until you get those results, you probably shouldn't decide about data centers until you know what the state of Ohio is, what the results are from their task force. The second thing is the petition that is going around now. So there is going to be a petition that is starting. It started on Friday, but it was approved by the Secretary of State in Ohio, where they want to make a constitutional amendment to ban large-scale data centers and medium-scale. Small ones will not be on this petition, so that is due. The signatures are due by July 1st. So I think that's a really good legitimate legal reason to have a moratorium right now, because what if they get, constitutionally banned, right? The third reason, which no one has really brought up lately, but our group did, pay Richard Klein to give his opinion about the health effects and the environmental effects of this, proposed or possible data center. So I think his report that we've sent to everybody is a good reason too. And then the last reason is that RGP is marketing Northwest Ohio for data centers to be the data center capital of the world, and they want 10 data centers in Northwest Ohio. So even though you don't have a proposal right now, it is very possible you'll get one with that much acreage. So I think you have 4 very good reasons, besides all the pressure that you're getting, to take a breath and stop and do the studies and have time to really come to a good conclusion. But I just wanted to put those 4 things on the record, because I know that I did send these reasons out in the email to some people, and they weren't brought up. So I just wanted to make sure, and I also wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, we do have in there to consider the state level developments and so forth that are coming through the pipe. So, I mean, keeping it a little loose, but also recognizing that we want public input and involvement and whatnot. So when planning commission has it before them, and there's time for that draft to be viewed by the public, we want public comment on that, so.
Alrighty. Anybody else? Moving right along then, item I, mayor and council comments, and, let's see, Kevin Baez. Oh, in response to your thing, council has spent a great deal of time, other than what we're here just at this meeting. I don't think what Aaron mentioned was the fact that we do talk a lot. And especially with this subject right here, it's consumed down to everybody. So this talk is just not isolated to this event. We just have to be careful that when we do talk about different things, that we don't have a group of 3 or 4 people getting together and not advertising that we're having public meetings, but spending a great deal of time in conversation with this.
I wanna make the record too that we've not gone into exec session since I became administrator.
And I hope you never do, right? Like I said, that would really stoke the fire.
There's obviously reasons why you might, that have to be discussed, due to the sensitive nature, and hope that you can trust them to not
Very
disclose it until
necessary.
we're allowed. But you only do it if you need to, and there's 99.999 and repeating percent reason, why you don't need to on a normal basis.
Anything from council? I think I'm gonna start fines, if you're wearing a Michigan shirt or you're a Michigan fan.
Guess what?
Find me all you want.
Well, yeah,
I'll pay it, I don't
I mean, starting tonight.
Go blue. Go blue.
You have to be fined.
We gotta talk about data centers.
Hey, go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Mike.
Let's get something on the table about a work session or something. Let's not wait until our next meeting to then talk about it. Let's get something on the schedule to start the dialogue. I don't wanna deal with this any more than anybody else does. I know you got more important things to do too, as we all do. Let's get it going as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, now we need to be in the stage of we're being productive with the direction that we need to go and not putting out the fires and, cause I don't email people. I mean, I respond to emails, I respond to phone calls. I may not respond to every, here's an idea, but.
I'd love to reiterate too that these anonymous letters that are getting sent are so ridiculous and they need to stop. It's just absurd.
It's clueless. Yeah.
In the Christian community, that is not right.
Alrighty, next council meeting obviously is Monday, April 20th. Yeah, April 20th, and trustee meeting is April 13th at 6 p.m. And so I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. Kevin, seconded by Aaron, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.